Oh, boy. Well, we're at the end, so I say we can just talk. I don't think we need to do all the establishing and stuff. But
Okay. I'm very curious. Just overall, maybe I'm jumping the gun. Did we like this episode?
Yeah.
And this conclusion?
Yeah.
Well, mostly, but also I don't know the words I'm looking for. It was like whiplash watching this episode. I couldn't tell what was up and what was down and what was real and what wasn't, and like who was on whose side and who was still not, and it was very confusing.
Really?
There was something odd about how it was paced in this specific episode for me, where I was like, oh, is this one episode? Are we going into like a 2-hour? Like, it just felt weirdly paced for them,
I agree.
at least. And I think that's what made it feel odd. I'm not necessarily like unhappy with the conclusion, but it just felt a little off than their previous episodes that we were enjoying so much, you know?
Yeah, I'm fine with it, but I agree with you. The pacing did feel weird, and for most of the episode, I couldn't tell which way was up and who was being shady and who was like double crossing. It was a little confusing, but I did like it, and I thought it had some good character moments throughout.
That's funny. I found it to be relatively straightforward. The only thing I was confused by was I just seriously thought Quiet Anne and Joe were gonna sleep together, and I was like,
okay, I was getting like a sexual tension, which I think they were just supposed to be like bosses, right? They suck.
Yeah.
But instead, I was getting like, are we doing this? Like, it felt more like, it felt more sexual.
And I was like, I mean, we established that she sleeps with men, so. Yeah.
Well, that was one of the things that I wasn't sure about, because I was like, are they doing something bad, or are they doing something that's helpful to our heroes? And it sort of turned into both, but it wasn't clear.
I was confused too. I mean, in typical fashion for me and Kristen, at least, Sade, you definitely build to things, but we like to go right to the end and talk about it. But yeah, I was a little bit kind of like, well, okay, there were several things that I was like, how are they certain this is going to work?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, especially locking Benedict in that room, where I was like, I feel like he should be trixier than that. Like
I feel like he should be able to get out, and also like setting a fire so far from where he is no assurance that he will be burned alive. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and maybe that's the reason. Maybe he'll pop up again, like somehow. I don't know. I mean, I doubt it.
Well, we did not see him die the way we saw Mac and Melba die, and it's just like,
true. Yeah.
I honestly don't know how I feel about the end, because part of me was like, go back to the salon, be, the nail girls at the salon. But then part of me was like, you know what? I've kind of come around a little bit on the casino, and I definitely like when they've got money. So I was like, I like when they're ballers. So I was a little undecided. I think the major thing for me about this episode and the last three to four, is that I thought this episode was hysterical. I laughed out loud. Funny. Like 5 times. Jen was killing me. Like, she was
What did she say? Jesus Christ in a crop top?
Yeah. And
that one made me laugh.
The first one was when they were storming off from Joe, and she was like, I don't think we're coming back, but if we are, I'm having the salmon. No, the prime rib.
Yeah, she was great in this episode. She was hilarious. For me, we were talking about this a few episodes ago regarding Quiet Anne, and I assumed, okay, she's going to team up with whatever opposing team, because she can't deal with Desna anymore, and screw Desna over, which she kind of did. But I think also this is helping Desna, because she got rid of Benedict. That's his name, right?
Yeah, but Benedict, the professor or whatever. Yeah. I agree with you, but she did it in a way that, like, I think she thinks it's more of a punishment than it is going to turn into.
Yeah, possibly. The thing that is interesting is that Desna, it felt like she was like, I'm over my head. I wish I wasn't in this situation anymore. Man, I wish it was back when we were doing things back in season 1, right? But then she seemed like, why would you do this to me? You killed Benedict and I don't have the casino anymore, the thing that was causing my struggles. Why would you, like, she seemed really mad about it. And really it's more of like, at least I don't know how to view it in any other way except for like a release for her to go back to how things were.
My concern was more that Anne was very much like, you know, dusting her hands off, like, took care of that. And I was like, but did you, though? Because Benedict couldn't have worked alone. Like,
right. This is going to have way bigger implications down the line. And I feel like that is almost definitely the way that Anne is going to get back into the fold because she's going to need protection or something.
Yeah. For me, that was my big issue where it's like, and I mean, at least they are still, you know, chummy with Joe. I'm glad that it's funny. I'm trying to make 3 separate points right now, but I'm glad that we're still with Joe and that he could potentially show back up again, that this entire season won't be for nothing, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I will say that looking back now, like knowing where it goes, I do end up liking the season more as a whole.
Yes.
You know, even a character like Mac, I feel like I like him more now, knowing, you know,
how it all fit together.
Okay.
And I'm seeing.
I'm not sure I agree, but I get it.
Yeah. I'm standing by my Melba love. I wish that she was still around because I'm like, Melba could have gotten them out of this situation. You know what I mean?
100%.
But yeah, I don't know. The mahjong is still weird. However, I like where we are.
It's only weird because it didn't come to anything.
Exactly. That's
it was
my
a long
issue.
time.
Sorry?
Like, if it was just 2 or 3, I said, and it was a long time. Like, if it was 2 or 3 episodes, that'd be one thing, but it was like 5. And
yeah,
at least.
When I think about the season as a whole and then think about this last episode, yeah, the mahjong thing was weird. The EJ thing, Jen's ex, was like...
Yeah, that's still floating out there.
We'll see him again. We have to.
Sure.
Yeah.
And it just felt like maybe he could have been introduced and yeah, we see him again as just like an ongoing character, but the way they built him up and the tension that he had at the beginning just felt like,
and with Virginia.
Exactly. It felt like, oh shit, something's about to happen. And instead nothing really happened with that. And, you know, like regarding how how everyone views Desna, I thought this episode was going to be like, oh, Desna's gone to the deep end, right? Like when she is talking to, I think she's talking to Uncle Daddy, or I forget who she's speaking to, but she basically reveals like, Roller and I killed him, the cousin.
Yeah.
And the other women are like, what? You did that? Like, we didn't know that. And they kind of look at her differently for the first time because it's like something she literally did, like a horrible thing, murdered someone and didn't tell them.
And she appears to have no real remorse over it, too.
Her concern was not like, oh my gosh, I'm haunted by murdering someone. It's like, I don't want to get caught. And so for a second, they gave her like a second look, like, uh-oh, what's going on with Desna? And then they were kind of like, oh, never mind, it's fine. It felt odd. It felt just like, for me, the season as a whole, the reason why when you were like, I think, you know, when you were speaking very positively about it, I'm not going to say this is a bad season, but overall, I just feel like I don't understand what they're trying to do. And of course, they could be making a very complex character. It's not going to be black and white, you know, like whatever, like Desna's now a bad person. Like it doesn't need to be that. But I guess I'm just kind of confused on where they're trying to go with it. Because at the end of the day, like if you really think about it, Desna was out for herself. And she kept saying, oh, I don't want them to get to you guys next and blah, blah, blah.
She really,
But it didn't feel that way. It really felt like, I don't want to get fucked over, so I need to do what's best for me. And you guys all have to help me. And it's like, what? And I don't know. And it feels like Quiet Anne has clocked that. She's like, okay, you are in it for you. So now I can't trust you, right? But all the other women are kind of just like, we're here with you, just doing the same thing. It just felt a little off. That would be my main criticism.
Yeah. The whole season, because it almost has to like make a joke but also be serious, it kind of feels like, they started the season with Andrea Arnold and then brought in Jean-Marc Vallée to edit it and put it together. So it's like we lost Reiki Eye, the whole thing with Toby. We really covered that last week.
Yeah.
But that especially for me carries over into this, where I was like, not that Toby was some great character, but it really felt like a slight bastardization of what we knew about him.
Yeah.
Yeah, for like the first 2 seasons, he felt like a totally different character. And like, it was so strange for me to have him turn into what he's turned into now. And I think that honestly is like a really good litmus test for the whole season, where it's like Toby's weird progression as like a villainous, weird, slimy dude like in the background who like is only out for Uncle Daddy's dick is like really, really bizarre and indicative of how meandering and strange and like uneven the whole season was, where like it didn't make sense.
Yeah.
We started there and we ended there, but then there wasn't the through line.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
It was like it was just like they needed a body that we had seen before to do something sort of dastardly to like push through, but then there was like nothing to back it up during any of the plot.
Do that, then at least do that. Like, he should have been like manipulating this whole season if that's what we were gonna do. Well, yeah,
because we talked about if he would have been we got Toby as Lady Macbeth to Uncle Daddy's Macbeth, like that would have been something. Yeah. But like that is not what happened, and like it just ended up falling way flat for me.
Yeah, I wish they did something kind of similar. I think first season, maybe second season, where we kind of got like a day in the life of Quiet Anne. Like, for a while, she was just kind of there and always supported, but we didn't really know what her day was like how she was living, what all that stuff. And then
who she was.
Yeah, who she was. And that episode really helped us to kind of know who she was, right? I wish we had, I mean, maybe it could have been half the episode devoted to a day in the life of Toby, like earlier on, like to know like who he is, because like you both are saying, it kind of just felt like everyone has seen Toby's face, right? Okay, let's make him do some stuff. Like it just didn't, I never felt like a real understanding of his turn beyond what he told us, which was, oh, she was disrespecting you. But I didn't know that he like cared about, like.
Yeah, that's also, in my opinion, not a good enough reason to try to kill Desna.
Well, yeah.
Uncle Daddy hasn't been scary since the beginning of season 1. You know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me.
And also, it's like the character that we saw this season, I do not believe had the gumption, let alone the wherewithal, to like actually successfully almost kill somebody. I mean,
exactly.
Yeah.
He orchestrated that by himself and then fell to pieces. Like, I don't know. It's like someone who does that doesn't then like crack under pressure. And certainly not the way we were shown it. Like, it was very odd. I'm conflicted. I think what I'm responding to the most, because I think you're right, Sade, that I enjoyed this in that I thought it was funny, and so I'm very forgiving that way. So I'm like, it was great. But the thing that I'm responding the most to was that these last couple episodes I thought were particularly funny, and our characters were together and talking to each other. Like,
those parts are great.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm never arguing those parts at all. Those parts are always great.
Like, even Uncle Daddy, like him interacting with Jen, I was like, finally, thank you.
Yeah.
Like, so I don't know. It was weird. I would be curious to know if there was behind the scenes stuff. I hope Virginia still has her magic eye. I have no idea.
Okay,
like,
so
again, yeah, that's the thing, is like they just picked up all these threads and then didn't tie them up in any way.
She references to Dean when she's kind of like, I guess, breaking up with him. She's like, oh, I've been feeling kind of weird. And it's like, yeah, the eye, right? Like, it's just like, like what happened with the eye? That was pretty much dropped like by episode 4. Or, like, like it just felt kind of like I was like kind of excited about that, like to see what that was going to produce. And maybe now that they have it, they can use it whenever they want. But it just felt a little odd not to like bring it up a little bit more towards the end of the season. I don't know, especially like because she was saying like she could feel people's like sense or like who they are just by being next to them. It would have been interesting if she was able to pick up on more people like that. I don't know. They could have done so many things.
It does feel like Virginia It does feel like she grew a little bit this season, which I appreciate.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I loved her
frankly,
breakup scene with Dean. It was like really interesting, and her reasons were valid. And I mean, I don't know. It just was, and she seemed sad about it, which is nice. I agree with you. Virginia, I think, is one of, honestly, really, it's like we said at the beginning, who knew Karrueche Tran was going to be like my favorite person on this show?
I'm following her on
she's
Instagram.
Amazing.
She's my favorite person now. Like, I'm shocked. I did not see this coming.
Yeah. She's amazing. And I think she's so good in this show. It's awesome.
The one thing that I'm curious if both of you felt this way, the actor who plays Roller, I don't know much about him. Like, I haven't really seen him in other things. Maybe I saw him in like one other thing. I don't know. But I get the feeling like he was like, I'm ready to do something else. That's why this entire season I was like, he's going to die. They're going to kill him off. Something's going to happen. And then in this episode, I was like, is he going to die? Okay, he's going to go to prison. Okay, they just broke him out of prison. Now he's going to leave by himself. And I feel like it's a way of like, if the show continues on for multiple seasons, he can come back. But I don't know if they intend for him to come back next season. Are you getting that?
I don't know either, but when he gave Desna his Saints medal, I thought he was a goner.
Yeah, at the beginning, I was like, oh, well, he's dead. Damn it. You know?
I was like, shit, he's giving away his religious iconography. He's definitely dying. And then he didn't, and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. Jack Kessie might want to do something else.
Yeah, I think that's maybe my problem. Sometimes I'm thinking outside of the show and the characters. I'm thinking, what is this person, you know, like if I go into like the show and his character specifically, again, we started the season with me still being questioning him, like not loving it. And then ending the season like Roller's the best. So like his character definitely became more like supportive of Desna and like seemed like you can trust him. So I did like seeing that change in his character. But yeah, it is a little like, okay, so now he's gone? After this whole episode was such a roller coaster of him like, is he going to die? He gets arrested. He gets out on bail. Then he gets arrested, who returns himself in. And then they break him out. And Desna kills someone again.
Yeah.
Like
Desna is definitely, she's crossing some lines that I think she would have balked at before.
Yeah. It's just interesting.
This is also the kind of show where I could completely believe that by episode 2 of season 4, Roller's back. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
That's
it
true.
didn't work out
I can
in
see
Cuba.
that.
And this is also the kind of show that if Jack Kessie wants to leave, they can like 1000% recast him and be like, I got a new face. I got plastic surgery.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
True.
Like,
yeah,
so,
you're right.
And I mean, I would hate that, but also would I? Like,
I don't know. It depends on who you cast, actually.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Is I might hate it, but it depends who they cast because I might love it.
Yeah.
The last thing that I feel like we need to at least address is, I feel like I'm frustrated by it. But why is Polly back with Dr. Ken, and why is he still on the show?
Okay.
Am I the only one that doesn't have a problem with Dr. Ken?
Oh, no, I don't have a problem with his character. I like his character. I just don't get, if you're going to break them up, I don't really care about them as a couple. And
well, okay, so Joe is married.
Yeah.
And he chose his wife instead of Polly. So she was sad and she went back to him for comfort.
I mean, I watched the show. I know it happened, but
you asked.
No, my point is like, why would you break up a couple just to get them back together that way, but then give Polly a more interesting relationship?
Yeah, I get that part. I am also frustrated because I thought Joe was like going to be in it for the long haul, kind of as a character.
Well, he might be.
He's still out there. But I agree with you. I did really like the way Polly was with him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I'm sorry. Like, I mean, okay, cheating is bad, yes. But her reaction to finding out that he's married, to me, just kind of felt like, you both are committing crimes every day and killing people.
Yeah,
like why does that matter that he's also married? Like, what does that have to do with anything?
Yeah, like you're doing crimes.
Now he's a bad guy.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like, I feel like I get it because I get the whole like I don't want to be a side piece, but it's also like he said they had an open relationship.
Exactly. Yeah,
I just was like,
technically you're not the side piece anymore.
Yeah.
just how the relationship is.
It's like you're not a school teacher. You are aware people have alternative lifestyles.
Like, exactly.
Yeah. It just feels a little weird. I wish like there was something else that she could have objected to that wasn't just, oh, he's in an open marriage. Right?
I agree.
And so, yeah, when she gets back with the other guy, it's like, I like that character. I've never had an issue with him. I understand why he's there because, like, I'm assuming they're going to go back to selling pharmaceuticals, right? Like selling drugs. Like, I just assume he's going to be the connection to that. This whole thing of their pairing again and how devoted he is to her and how disinterested she is in him. I don't know if I need that going forward,
well,
you know?
It's possible she's turned over a new leaf and she's not disinterested in him anymore. I think the only reason they broke up is because he lied about something in season 2. And now I don't remember what it was. But
it?
I feel like I think he wronged her.
Oh, wow. I totally forgot that because I thought
remember.
I thought she truly was just like, you're being too clingy. I'm not a relationship person. I'm realizing that now. I don't want to be in a relationship with you. I thought that's what happened. And then he was shocked by it. Maybe he was coming on too strong.
If that's all that happened, then Polly is a sociopath.
Well, yeah.
She's just like, I mean, I know that she is, but I think it's like, that's too much in my opinion. Because I forgot what happened.
If we tune into season 4 and she's like, JK, Dr. Ken, I'm breaking up with you to get back together with Joe. It's like, that's too much. Like, I don't know. Well, I guess we'll have to see. Like I said, I assumed there was another season, although I don't know that I've heard word.
Yeah, it hasn't gotten picked up yet.
I actually don't know. I don't know if it's picked up for another season. I normally you hear things like that, like, okay, Claus got picked up for season 4. You know, like I just haven't heard anything.
Well, this just says when will season 4 premiere on TNT?
Well, I guess we'll see.
Yeah, here's the thing. Like, I think I sound more negative. I agree. These last few episodes especially have been way better. The show is hilarious, you know, and there are definitely characters that I invested in and interested in. I just wish that when we come to like the main character of Desna, I feel like it's kind of, they didn't really nail exactly what they were trying to do with her character in her relationship with her friends. I don't know. I don't understand exactly that dynamic between them and all of them.
I agree.
Like, I wish they spent some of that time this season addressing that. And I'm assuming maybe next season, if it gets picked up, that's what they'll do. But
this could be a good 4-season show if they actually if they finish Desna's arc next season. And even with, like you were talking about, with if Jack Kessie wanted to leave and he came back for 1 or 2 episodes or something, it's like, I would be content. I would be content with 4 seasons of this show. So
I agree.
I definitely wasn't like thinking, how many seasons does this show have until the middle of this season when it was a little shaky. And like the sweat lodge thing, like what was that? Or the sweat rehab, like what was that about? I don't know. But like now I agree. I think 4 seasons might be, I always hope that a show can end like strong and doesn't get like canceled. So I truly hope that maybe they go into the season 4 with a real ending on how they want, like what they want these characters to go through and how they want them to end.
That would be great. Yeah. That's where I am with this.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So. Well, do we have anything else that we want to say?
I don't think so.
No, I'm good. It's been fun. It's been really good. But I just had a little bit of a complaint.
So, okay, cool. Well, I guess be on the lookout because we won't be returning unless we're returning to cover the premiere of season 4.
Yeah.
So we won't know when to let you know when we'll be back.
I was going to say also, since this is going to be, we're going to release this as a legit episode, Sade should do let us know where we can find you.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I host a podcast called Offscreen Babble. It's available wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you want to follow us on social media, we're on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Offscreen Babble.
Awesome. And then we'll link out to all of that in our show notes too, just so everybody can find you. And then other than that, you can follow us on Twitter at So I'm Watching, Instagram at So I'm Watching This Show. We're also on Facebook and Tumblr, So I'm Watching This Show. Any music that you want to put on the playlist, Will?
No.
Not for this season?
Yeah. No.
Then other than that, just rate, review, and subscribe to us and Offscreen Babble on iTunes or wherever you listen. And that's it.
Bye.
Cool.
Bye.
Bye.